welcome to the show. We're back.
As always, I'm Nick,
I'm Kevin.
and we are a couple of dumb idiots.
Some dumber than others.
That's right. The show is Two Dumb Idiots, and as always, we're going to talk about a bunch of junk. We're going to give you some opinions and some would-be iffy facts, and we're going to hash it out a little bit.
Yeah, you can't see it, but the word facts is in air quotes.
Yeah, big air quotes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff we're going to say is factually inaccurate and wrong, but that's okay. We're just here to hash it out and have some fun, so don't take anything too seriously. Me and Lamb, over the years, have been up and down with our workouts, but we decided that just working out in general is a pretty fun topic in the sense that pretty much everybody's tried, everybody's failed at points. Nobody knows exactly the secret, but most people swear that they do.
Yeah, it's one of those things you're never like, yeah, I achieved it.
Yeah,
like, it's not like Everest, like you get to the top and that's it. Like, you're like, I made it.
I got abs, and now I'm just going to eat pizza and Coke
Yeah.
until I fall apart, right? You know, even though that's normally what happens
It's
to most people.
it's almost worse because, like, you go to Everest, you go to the top, you've been to the top, you can tell that story forever.
Boom, you're
Nobody
dead.
cares that you had an 8-pack 37 years ago.
But people do think that people care, right?
Yeah.
How many times have you
check
heard
out this picture, man.
How many times have we heard somebody say, "Yeah, but when I was your age, I was ripped"? You're like, "All right, well, you're not my age, and you're not ripped anymore." So.
Back when I played JV high school football,
Yeah.
I was a stallion.
At that school of 427 people, where they were just pulling people out of the bleachers to make it play.
Yeah, it is. I have a series of questions that I always ask, like, people when they talk about, like, their high school or college, like, accolades.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, oh, you know, like, you're like, oh, what division were you? And they'll be like, oh, 4. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Like, you know, where I was, like, grew up in New Jersey, Division 4 was actually the bigger schools. Is that the same for you? Because some schools, it's the smaller ones or whatever, Division 1.
What we were now.
And you're like, and then you find out, like, oh, what's your graduating class? And they'll be like, oh, 57. And you're like,
Whoa, that's weird. Because mine
so
was like,
I'm assuming half were girls, so they probably didn't play on the football team.
Yeah.
And so now you're really, like, talking about, like, you had 100 kids at the school.
I want to double
A
check
normal
these-
football team is like 50.
I want to double check to see what my high school was, but I know that my graduating class was 300 or no, it was 529.
Okay, so that's a pretty big,
Yeah, and I'm
big
pretty-
class because
but
mine was decent size, but we were only like 325.
And I want to double check this, but I swear that when I left, we were either 3,100 or 4,100 people. I know that our football team went to states 2 out of the 4 years I was there. We had a lot of athletes, a lot of. But like I said, I mean, when we're talking about what we're talking about. When somebody says I was on JV football, I mean, I'm 6'3" now, but in high school, I couldn't play a sport anywhere. There's just nothing but athletes floating around my damn school.
I mean, I was like pretty athletic in high school, I thought.
Yeah.
And then I went to college and competed in college athletics, and I realized I was okay. But I was not like this elite level athlete.
I'm
like,
sure a lot of people had the same issue where they went to a school where there was mega athletes. For me, I remember I went to freshman basketball tryouts, and I was all excited. I went with my buddy Tom, and in freshman, we were doing layup lines, and it was probably, 25, 30 kids, and like 8 or 10 of them were dunking, and I was like, well, maybe the golf team has some openings.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to work.
That happened to me in middle school. I tried out for the basketball team, and I was fairly tall as a middle school kid. I was probably 5'7", 5'8" as a 6th grader. So, decent. Didn't make the team.
Weird.
And then found out the wrestling team took everybody.
Hey.
And then I wrestled from 6th grade till senior in high school and enjoyed it thoroughly.
When they take everybody, you have to at least tell people that you made the cuts, though.
Yeah,
because
I
otherwise
made the team.
Yeah.
I was now on the wrestling team.
Doesn't sound that cool. Yeah, I was in volleyball in middle school, and pretty much it was the most biased junk ever. The teacher literally watched you in practice at gym class and said, like, yeah, you're good enough. Like, you're on the squad. And you're like, what? This is weird.
I guess I got to go to school after school now?
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So today's subject is going to be lifting, working out in general. We're going to talk about, some things that bother us, things that have worked, some things that have not worked, some rumors that people have said. And by no means is this discussion going to be, this is what working out is supposed to be. We're just talking about, I'm sure that everybody's going through some ups and downs. I'm sure everybody has some pet peeves. I'm sure everybody has some things that they've really had work and really had fail. So we just want to talk about it in depth. I think we're also probably going to have Curt on here a little bit. Curt is our keep it blunt man, and he also is a very big lifter. So he's gonna he's been in the Marines. He's has some background, so he's gonna talk about maybe some of his experiences.
Yeah, we'll have him fill us in on his current
Workout state.
Yeah, and just kind of like his goals now.
His ups and downs.
Yeah, we don't want to speak for him.
No,
because he does quite a good job speaking for himself.
Yes, he does. He doesn't have any opinion, any shyness with his opinion. So, but let's not dilly dally. Let's jump right into it. The first thing that we wrote down, and I guess we can kind of pepper these in as we go throughout, was pet peeves.
Yeah, because I'm sure Kurt's got a couple, so I want to hear.
Yeah. So maybe right off the bat here, let's talk about at least with you, Kevin. Where are you at right now as far as working out? What do you do every day? What are your routines look like right now?
All right. So right now, my routine it mainly consists of CrossFit, and I pepper. That's pretty much it. I was
Is there
recently
any rules with CrossFit?
that I have to talk about it. I think that's where you were headed with that.
Legitimately, the only thing I wanted to say.
And I find it funny because you brought it up.
Yeah.
Like you asked me about it, knowing full well what I was going to say.
For sure. And you're actually not super CrossFit-y in the sense that you like to talk about it, but it is it's a stigma for a reason because people, you know what it is though? It's difficult, so people want to brag about it. I think that's what it is. I think that's just like anything else. It's difficult and they want to brag about it. It's different, so they want to brag about it as well. But anyway, go ahead.
I was adding, recently I was doing a lot of jujitsu.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Got my white belt, and they put some pieces of tape on it, like
Nice.
you're a little kid and you're working your way up get some stickers. If they had gold stars, I think I had a couple towards the next belt, which is blue. Haven't gotten there yet. So
You said cardio-wise, though. Actually, now that I do remember you saying this, cardio-wise, very intense.
yeah, like I was like already had I'm fit. I got this.
Yeah.
And I wrestled in high school. I got this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't got this.
Yeah.
It took me a good 3 or 4 months of doing it to even just understand breathing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's a life or death struggle, and just the breathing aspect of it. And when you're just trying to at first hold your breath and grab everything and and you muscle everything, and then in 30 seconds you're out. You got nothing.
It's almost like doing a pull-up, for 30 seconds straight, and then being like, continue on. You're like, well, I'm kind of exhausted here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they're like, oh, we'll just go 2 minutes, and you're like, 2 minutes.
Yeah. I guarantee, though, 2 minutes is, again, a gradual scale with that working out because there could be times where you are in a position of not as much stress.
Oh, yeah.
Right? For sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking at the beginning. They're like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, 5, 10, 15 minutes and stuff like that. And obviously exhausting.
Yeah.
But you learn to conserve energy and where to conserve energy and when to really push and when not to push. It's just a lot of leverage and stuff like that. And it's just new and different and trying to mix it up. I was doing hot yoga for a little while.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't admit that on air, but go ahead. No,
hey. It was actually...
I want to really... my
hey,
fingers
feel
working
free.
towards the fart button.
Yeah. Work your way towards it. Go for it.
We'll save it for another one.
People fart in hot yoga. It happens. But I was doing this hot yoga with weights.
Oh, okay.
And now I'm going to put the word weights in air quotes
as well.
My average weights that I was using was 3-pound weights and 5-pound weights.
Coca-Cola can.
Yeah. And one of the most difficult things I've ever done.
Reminds me of my first time doing it reminds me of my first time doing yoga, which was on P90X, and I thought it was going to be a very relaxing hour and a half, and it was absolutely grueling, and there was muscle groups that I simply didn't work out that were just like, hey, welcome to the party, and it was miserable.
It was probably the most humbling thing I've ever done.
Yes.
Because you look around, it's a pretty full room, people of all sizes, ages, everything like that, and maybe they're struggling internally, but I felt like I was the only one visibly struggling.
Right. The first thing I think of is I think it's warrior poses, and I
remember, that, but then put hand weights.
Right.
And
I remember being in this crouch position and thinking like, oh, this is going to be nice. And then I was about 15 seconds in, and my legs start to do a little shake, and you're like, how long are we in this? This concern immediately comes across your face. So that's kind of your...
Yeah, that's my current stuff.
Okay.
I had, the standard background, gym, most people have
Of
to
some
start.
form, yeah,
in
some
my,
form of lifting.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I was letting myself go there for a little bit. I was not working out anymore. Sometimes, job just starts to catch up and you're not really focused anymore. But then I got to the point where I wasn't really happy with where I was at. That was in like January. I think I was floating around. I was floating around 232. So I was kind of frustrated with that. Went on, started eating healthy and hitting. I actually didn't join a gym, so I am a little bit different. I have a bench press out back. I have some weights out back, a jump rope, and that's pretty much all I used between push-ups, pull-ups, some bench pressing, some curling, that kind of stuff, 4 or 5 days a week. But the rule was for me, even if I didn't have the energy to go out there for an hour, I did something every day. And that actually, for me, at least me personally, that's where I really get it done, is that I've got to connect days. If I do like, I'm going to work Monday, Wednesday, that Friday, that crap doesn't work for me. Like as soon as like Tuesday hits and I'm like a day off, I'm like, well, I might as well have a Coke and a Pepsi. And
I'm the same way. Mine is the gym. It keeps rolling. If I get a couple days in, I want to go to the gym.
Right.
I get a couple days off.
Yeah. I just,
it's just whichever one I'm on is where I want to stay.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. So recently, again, I've took a couple weeks off there. Started doing push-ups again recently. Again, though, you talk about the Mount Everest thing, and that's a very good example for me because I feel like for me, if I get to the point where I'm happy with where my body looks, there is some complacency, and it's hard to continue on, right? So it's like, I did it, I got it, but it's like, you lose motivation to keep working out. What am I working out for now? I mean, you're working on very micro improvements at that point, and
there's also that celebratory aspect.
Yeah.
Like I'll set a goal. Like by this date, I want to lose X number of pounds, or
Right.
I want to look better, or whatever the thing is. And then you get there, and you look great, and you feel great, and you're like, cool. I deserve a treat.
Right. And you do probably.
And you do. But the
it's not 2
problem
weeks of
is,
treats.
that's where I fall in. I'm like,
Yeah.
and it just always coincides. There's so many excuses.
Yeah, it's like it's just
many
like a conveyor
reasons.
belt of food that you haven't eaten in months, and now you're like, and now it's hard to get away from it. Now you're like one after another. Well, I haven't had a burger in a while. I've been eating more healthy. I haven't had a pizza in a while. I've been eating healthy. And it's like, well, now 4 days in a row I've had junk food.
Well,
So
there's that. Plus, then there's always, for me, it's always like, it's somebody's birthday.
Oh, yeah,
Or
always.
there's
we're at the
too
hockey
many
game. We got to have a
things.
couple beers. It's like,
There's a holiday coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Flag Day. Whatever's going on.
it's wacky Wednesday at the taco spot. I gotta go over.
And we've talked about this again and again. I'm a teacher.
Probably
magically,
Taco Tuesday would have been better there.
yeah. more
They're like
more
a
people
womp
would have.
womp. No, that's absolutely
That
not
is
it.
not it.
Sorry, folks, don't mess with these buttons. No, not
That's for you.
this one. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. You're gonna embarrass me. I'm
But
gonna
yeah,
really be
stuff
embarrassed.
constantly shows up at school.
What kind of stuff?
Like just food.
Oh, candy, junk, crap.
Yeah, they're like, we brought in donuts today for the teachers. Oh, there's like magically free cake day or whatever. There's just too much.
Yeah, it's always
There's a room full of things that shouldn't be eaten.
For sure.
Just then they're like, eat it.
Yeah. I used to work at a couple offices, and it does feel like everybody's always really excited to bring in donuts and cookies and crap. And it always seems to be the people that are not working out. And I'm always incredibly convinced that it's a sabotage effort. Nobody will ever convince me otherwise.
I don't think sabotage, but I think they want to eat these things and don't want to be judged for
That's
eating
possible.
them. So they're like, everybody eats them. Now it's okay.
And I think bringing in donuts for once a week for work is great. It's a morale booster. But the place I used to work, it felt like people had to take turns. So it was like, John bought them on Monday, and then it's my turn to buy them on Tuesday. And I'll probably and Sarah brings them on Wednesday. I was like, we don't need donuts every day. It's a treat. It's supposed to be every now and again.
I was going through a phase where my rule was a thing called Donut Friday. And it was on Fridays, if I remembered, I could get myself a donut.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't Friday, I wasn't allowed to have a donut.
Your body's only used to it on Friday.
It would just like keep me from being like, a donut.
Yeah. Before we get too lost, I also think that same thing with working out as far as connecting days. It's the same thing for eating healthy for me.
Oh, yeah.
If I eat healthy for weeks at a time, even a week and a half at a time, and then I go eat something poor, my body immediately knows the difference. I immediately feel sluggish, and I immediately, as weird as it sounds, want a health food back. I'm like, I got to get back on this health food because I feel way better. But if I have 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row of bad food, then I don't want anything to do with but bad food. It is so weird how your brain gets in. It's.
I 100% agree.
I don't know what that is.
It is just.
Make up a word for it.
Let's call it
the domino effect.
I was gonna say fast foodopolis.
Whoa, I like that. That sounds almost like a disease. Yeah,
well, I think it is kind of a disease.
Yeah, I think. I'll tell you this: when I have gained weight in my lifetime, I can distinctly link it to fast food. I would say people in people's heads there are foods that are making them fat. I guarantee you, it's not the foods that are actually making you fat. Like French fries are the one thing that's like, if I'm really eating French fries, I feel like I've completely fallen off some wagon somewhere. There's just a million amount of facts out there that say that that's the worst thing you put, but they're delicious. I get it. You got to have them sometimes.
Well, and it's just my issue with fast food is like once I've gone to the fast food place, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to get a burger. Yeah, maybe I'll wash it down with some nuggets and a milkshake and some fries.
Yeah.
I better get a taco too.
Yeah, right.
Like, you know, like I'm here, you know.
It's like, when you withhold fast food for so long and then you finally go after it, it feels like, well, I haven't had it. You almost feel like you deserve a milkshake, which is not really true. But it's also a totally different subject, but it also feels like you got to do a good job of rewarding yourself. Whatever you've been craving, pizza, fast food, you got to go get it once a week. So your body kind of lets that go. But all right, so that's kind of our workout schedule to start. As far as that health food go, I remember in our other podcast we talked about pet peeves, and one of them was people talking about their diet while you're eating something poor. And I had never heard that as a pet peeve. I'd heard that at all. But I will say that there's some truth to that when I'm eating healthy, you know, and somebody wants to bring in terrible food. But the other way, if I'm eating something bad and somebody's like, well, I thought you were on a diet. You're like, look, man, don't ruin this one day of the week that I'm eating something poor, you know?
Well, I get like reverse judgment sometimes at school. Yeah. Like parents will bring in something and they're like, would you like some cake? And I'll say, no, I'm on a diet. And they're like, and I don't want to like brag here. Like I'm not unfit looking. Yeah. Like, and they don't look like a slob.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, you could have it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
the reason I'm this way is because I have the willpower sometimes to say no. That's the only reason I got it.
I don't need to be like, I didn't ask for this and then now I'm turning it down.
Right. This wasn't part of my schedule today and it's not going to be. You know? I also think that, I think it's a little cool tidbit I read a while ago that talked about how if you feel guilty while you're eating something, your body will literally send receptor blockers to your taste buds so that you don't enjoy it as much because your body knows that you shouldn't be eating it. You've already put in the guilt so that now that guilt turns off the taste receptors, essentially some of them. So when you eat a piece of chocolate that you've been, you know, you haven't eaten in weeks and you feel really guilty about it before you eat it, you will actually enjoy it less, but that causes you to now crave it again. So my recommendation is if you're going to eat something poor, let that go before you go into it.
So enjoy the fuck out of it.
Enjoy the absolute fuck out of it. Correct. You got to go in after. If you go in and you're like, man, I really shouldn't eat this pizza, and every single bite you feel that way, you will leave unsatisfied, and tomorrow you will be absolutely craving pizza again, and you have literally not taken a cheat day because you didn't let yourself have it. If you look at, like, The Rock, you know, he has an Instagram page. His cheat days are epic. You know, he doesn't go in. He goes in all the way, you know?
And the volume of food this man can consume.
Right. It's like 7 or 8 cookies. It's like a gallon of ice cream. You're like, oh, look, this is a cheat day, and then there's like killing.
He'll eat 2 pizzas.
I mean,
and not just like pizzas. Yeah. Like they're like double dough, extra cheese. Like
the thing that makes it different for him is I know that his workout regimen is strong enough that he actually can sustain that just fine. His body always probably needs some calories at some point, but.
I think he averages like 5,000 a day or something like that.
Oh man, Michael Phelps, I think it was like 10,000 a day. So,
but it's just like
it's too much. But anyway, all right. So that's like I said, that's a little bit of a sidetrack there. But I think that's fascinating that your body knows when you should, not knows, but if you start to feel guilt, you know, just save it for an hour later when you're not feeling guilt, or put it out of your mind because you're not going to enjoy it. So, all right. So jumping in there, like I said, that was kind of the one pet peeve that I was talking about. Lan, right, real quickly here, it doesn't have to be long, but what, in your opinion, over the years, have you noticed has actually worked for you in the sense of Either one, losing weight, or two, building muscle.
Well, I learned first off that diet is the biggest part of it. That I can't outwork the food I eat.
Correct.
I used to think like, oh, I went to the gym, now I can eat what I want.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work that way at all. Like you can't just outwork cheeseburgers and fries and all that stuff.
And at a young age, you absolutely think you can.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But your metabolism's out of control. Like when I was a kid, the amounts of food that were going into my body and no changes were happening, good or bad.
Yeah, everybody was kind of that. I mean, I was known as a bottomless pit, but I'm sure 1,000 kids were also known as the same thing. And it was true. I could just eat and eat and eat and eat, and I never felt actually full. I could just continue to just gorge, you know. I remember, having I think it was with my buddy Pat. I think I had 36 wings one time, and I'm sure people are listening. I've had 100 wings, I'm sure. But that's my all-time record, 36. If I sat down right now and tried to eat 18 wings, I absolutely could not do it. My body has not allowed me to do that anymore, and I'm only 31, so something changes quickly.
I remember in my later teen years, I was out with my family at a restaurant, and for whatever reason, they had a all-you-could-eat ribs and chicken option.
Wow.
At a fairly nice place. And I was like, I asked if I could get it, and my parents were like, sure. It got to the point where my mom asked me to stop eating because she was embarrassed with the amount of food that was brought to the table.
You go home now.
My mom, who's paying this bill.
Yeah, there's a famous comedian that talks about a little bit about how he would go into buffets and the Chinese buffet guy would come up to him and say,
John Panette, I believe.
Yeah, John Panette. That's right. You go home now. You scare my wife, you know? That's how I feel. I've been that way too. I've been to a Vegas seafood buffet and I'm on the 4th, 5th, or 6th plate. And I can see people staring. They know what's going on. You know, it's starting to get embarrassing.
Yeah. But so for me, learning that. And then what's really worked to get me to go to the gym is, and I don't want to keep saying CrossFit because I'm sure you're just going to keep hitting the buttons.
There's a part button. Go ahead.
But some sort of obligation. I go there and there is a workout of the day. Okay. It's written. Everyone that goes there that day does that workout.
They always have nicknames and stuff for the workouts? Is that
Not
right?
always.
Oh, okay.
There's a few that are known and whatever and have them pre-listed. But that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You go there and you do it.
You're done.
And when it's done, you're done.
Yeah.
I really used to struggle going to the gym when it was basically open and do what you want.
You're just a wide open box, yeah.
Because you'd go there with a plan in your head, and then there'd be somebody on that machine, or it's busy, or there's no parking, or I forgot my headphones, or whatever
Jackass is hogging all the weights.
Yeah, or the dumbbells I want to use are, and it's just all these barriers, and then so you either create an excuse to leave, or maybe you just don't do that, or whatever, and you don't feel as accomplished.
Correct. Looks like we got a call in here. We're at a good time here. Looks like Curt McGirt's buzzing in. Let's see if we can actually grab him and see if we can hear him. Curt, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hey, there he is.
Hey, your man's hot.
Your man, the mic is red hot. Curt, introduce yourself and tell us, what it is that you bring to the show here.
My name is Curt McGirt, and I bring that fire.
Hey, there's that fire right there. Appreciate that. You keep it real for us, and I like that. We have just talked a little bit about, we just kind of introduced the subject a little bit. Lamb was talking a little bit about what worked for him. He was saying what worked for him for sure was dieting. He said that for sure he noticed. And he also noticed that because he does CrossFit, he was saying that when you come in every day, there's already a workout on the board. So this is all I have to do is this. Once I'm done with this, I get to go home. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to invent a workout. I don't have to create something in my mind. And I think that's actually pretty true. So that is what worked for you. Anything else?
Honestly, I love the group workout. That mutual suffering.
Okay, yeah, that's
when I'm done and I'm laying on the ground or whatever, and I look at the person next to me and I know they went through that same thing.
Yeah.
Builds a little camaraderie. You're all right.
Next time
this sucked for both of us.
Right. That's fair. That's fair.
I hate going to the regular gym.
Yep.
Put in my work. And then I look at the guy next to me. It looks like he didn't sweat a drop, but he somehow has the body I want.
Yes.
And you're like,
well, I got somewhere to get to.
I got to do what he's doing.
Yep.
And then he's always doing something ridiculous. He's trying to overhead squat a barbell while standing on like a Bosu ball and
You're like, I don't know if I
Oh,
need to
what?
get
like
What'd you call that thing?
a Bosu ball. I think that's the
I
brand
don't know what
name.
that
So
is.
it's one of those stability balls, the big, looks like a giant kickball.
All right, so Curt, we got you on the mic here.
Um,
In your years of working out, as far as I mean, you've had I introduced you already. As far as you've had a lot of different workouts, as far as Marines and this and that. In your life, what has helped you work out as far as cutting weight, and what has helped you as far as well, maybe not cutting weight, but what has helped you get to the shape that you'd like to get in, and what is something you do that helps you get motivated or get to those places, the gym, or whatever you need to get to.
so what's gotten me to, I guess at this point, the size, is to eat everything in sight. That's the best way I can put it.
Insight.
I mean,
Okay,
eat everything.
but right, but that's not just the only part. A lot of people could eat everything in sight and they wouldn't get a damn bit muscular. In the gym, what do you think specifically you're doing that works for you as far as lifting?
So that's just a double-edged sword there. So working out wise can go and Lamb, to kind of caveat off of your group workout and whatnot. I'm just so against that, and here's why. I thought the human body, that everyone has a different piece of the puzzle when it comes up to human anatomy and them working out as a whole. Um, that there's so much more we could do with most ourselves as an individual, that would completely differentiate what somebody else is doing out there. Like you said, the one guy was not even breaking a sweat, and you're there slaving yourself, trying to figure out, how can I get to that? I feel like there's so many workouts out there designed for certain people. And me, for instance, I've realized over the time that, it's not the high rep stuff at the, median weight range that actually works out for me. It's the low torque. It's the heaviest humanly possible weight for, 3 to 6 reps at a time, and repeating that over and over again. Like I said, it's all on the individual, to be honest with you.
But okay, but let's on the same token though, would you say that if you're an individual that is almost in your like I said, with the Marines and everything, sometimes you have to be self-motivated, but some people are not. I think some people need a group around them to push them, otherwise they will not perform. Do you think in some situations, some settings, there are personality traits that fit a group setting better?
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, I think the Marines. If I'm sitting there in the Marines and I'm doing push-ups and I just want to quit, and then I look and all my buddies are not quitting, it's like, all right, F it, I'm not going to quit too. You know what I mean? So I think I could probably get more out of a workout knowing that somebody else is not quitting.
Well, one thing that really motivates me though is just think about this. Think about people who don't have the abilities to do what we do, the ability to wake up every single day and can afford the opportunity to go to the gym and to go work out and have all their limbs and, have the ability to walk and, aren't paralyzed from the waist down. Like, I think about those people all the time, or people who are dealing with, major illnesses, throughout their life, whatnot, or, dealing with people who have, like, autistic, for instance. There are some strong autistic people out there, by the way. But, like I said, just that's what motivates me. Is like, hey, if I have the ability to perform and to do something with myself, why not go out there and just grind and get doing something with my body and put myself to use?
Yeah, see, and I'm not saying that's wrong. I mean, that's where you've pulled motivation from. No offense, have literally never used that once to motivate me. I'm a firm believer in, if you're really going to stick with working out for a long time, I think you need to pull from all sorts of motivations. You need to pull from, hey, I'm going to the beach this year, and hey, I heard that I want to make my heart healthier for when I'm older, and I want to look good in my clothes, and I want to feel confident. I think because I feel like certain forms of motivations, will leave you quickly. And if you don't have a variety of them, I think that you could, but for me, working out, at least for me, what has worked over the years, I'm a guy that likes to get in as much as humanly possible in a quick time. So I like supersetting. I like pushing myself because I don't always have the motivation to go and lift for an hour and then go 30 minutes of cardio. So for me, somebody that I'm not trying to get huge, and I'm not trying to, I want to be muscular as a guy, but not huge. For me, what works for me is, doing a set where I bang out a bunch of something, push-ups, anything, and then I follow it right back up, no break with something else, and then maybe with no break, follow it again, maybe with like a jump rope or something until failure. And then I take a 2-minute, 3-minute break. Until that, I just rep that until I fall apart. And for me now, I'm burning cardio and getting my weightlifting in, and for me, that sometimes keeps me focused. But also, at least you guys are talking about like motivations and stuff. For me, it's the small things that get me motivated. Like I said, I need to know that I'm going to be able to, I'm going somewhere. I don't want to look poor when I'm going somewhere. I don't want to feel bad. But also for me, small things get me going. Like if I leave my clothes on my bed, my workout clothes, and I come home and I see them on my bed, it's almost like a guilt trip for myself. I'm like, I already set them out. I'm not gonna not work out, right? It's so stupid, but like, I need that. I need to, even as small as like, I know some people like don't even believe in protein shakes and whatever. I buy protein shakes to keep in my house because that is a small reward for me that I will work out and I say, hey, yeah, well, we could work out today, get one of them chocolate protein shakes. That'll be pretty good. I need something to push me through after a long day. I don't feel like going to the gym. So I'm very different than a lot of people, but I need those small motivations.
Well, I also think a real big important thing is your gym goals.
Yeah, right.
Like, what are you trying to accomplish?
Right, for
Like,
sure.
if it's just to look a certain way, if it's to actually build strength, actually build size, build a physique of some specific type, strongman, whatever it is, like, I think you're going to have slightly different
The necessities are very
goals,
different
too.
there, right?
Like-
Yeah. Like Curt's trying to get big, so for his saying he wants to eat a bunch of food, that would be the exact opposite of somebody else's, recommendation. So, also here, so that's kind of what, like I said, that's kind of what we've seen have worked for us. And the other thing I wanted to throw in was something that my dad told me, just because I wanted to throw this in as a key point, because I think it's a really fair summation of the gym. My dad was a physical personal trainer for a long time, and he said he would train people for a few weeks and 4 weeks, and they'd come back and they said, I can't believe it, like I'm losing weight and I look better. And my dad would always say, the gym is not a myth. It's not something where people say, people have been saying for years, you go to the gym, you get bigger, and I go and nothing happened. My dad said, if you show up 3, 4, 5 days a week and you work out for 45 minutes or an hour and you actually sweat and you actually push yourself, you will absolutely see results. Even if you're not 100% doing things the right way, you, with that dedication, will notice the results.
Something is always better than nothing.
Right. It's not a myth. Like, it's not something where if you do it, you're not going to see results. You go to the gym 4 to 5 days a week, you will see results.
Yeah,
And I
we
think
did an
that's
entire episode on myths,
Yeah.
and not one of them was
gym related.
the gym doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, like, for me, I did P90X when it came out, and for me, P90X was excruciating. But people would always say, they always have these videos, and they say, 90 days, I couldn't believe how ripped I was. And then I did P90X, and it's 60 minutes of just brutal supersets and cardio. You are pouring sweat. You're almost nauseous. They have 2 cardio discs that they want you to do. The first cardio disc is for beginners, and it's just for whatever. The second one is called, oh my gosh, I used to remember. It's like jump training, and there's a word for that. It'll come to me. Height. Oh, damn it, I can't think of it.
HIIT
Anyway,
training?
No, it's called like it's jump training. If I can remember what it's called, anyway. So this jump training video, and when you start the jump training video, me and my brother were cocky, and so we said, well, we're not gonna do the beginner cardio. So we put this thing in, and he says, look, if you're not in great cardio shape, this is not for you. And we're like, yeah, F it, we got it. I was 15 minutes in, and I said, look, man, I think we should start with the beginner one. And like, even my brother was like, yeah, I think that'd probably be a good idea. I mean, it was actually insane. We were literally doing jump knees to our chest for a minute straight. And I'm like, dude, this is actually insane. So if you hadn't done cardio like that, you were not ready for it. So
How about you, Curt? You a P90X guy?
I don't believe in that terrible C word. What, it's Spanish to me.
cardio.
Oh, cardio? Oh, you're
can't
not a cardio guy?
You can't not believe in it, but you
I
don't
was
like
actually
it.
at the gym today, and somebody was trying to tell me, like, we were doing some rowing, and they were like, oh, this guy, he's new to cardio. And this guy's been working out his whole life.
Plyometrics.
There you go.
Plyometrics is what it's called for jump training. Sorry, I just thought of it.
Yeah. And it just, I laughed. I was like, how could you be new to cardio?
Kurt doesn't like cardio at all. So
I know, I understand that.
yeah.
I
Nobody
understand not liking cardio, not doing cardio, but
People
the
always talk
idea of
about
just being new to cardio like blew my mind.
I mean, for me, like I said, cardio for me is something where people say, "Oh, I got a runner's high" or something. I've never achieved any of that. I've never been running.
You know what?
People call it a running high. We're like, "Oh, yeah, I've been running for 2
Yeah,
miles."
he's crazy.
They said it just feels so good that they just don't want to stop. That's never happened to me.
I
I want to stop the whole time.
I ran cross country in high school for a couple years and never once experienced that.
Right.
And and even when they talk about it, they talk about like, oh, you get, once you get past like 5, 6, 7 miles, that's when it starts to kick in.
Correct.
What?
Yeah.
So
Like, I'm
I
not
got
putting in
something
that
to catch
pre
up
5 miles. Like, I don't care about at that point.
I've not got it. What are you saying, Curt?
so the Marine Corps is actually what ruined cardio for me.
Oh, that's true. I can see that.
And what I mean by that was I'll never forget. We got out of combat training. We went to CNAT, is what it's called, to our C school. And Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays were PT days. Every single Monday. This might not seem like a whole lot to some people, but it was just terrible for me.
PT's physical
Every
training?
Monday was what's that?
PT, physical, what is it?
Physical training?
Yes, it was physical training. I'm sorry. Yes,
Okay,
sir,
yeah, okay.
physical training. And so every Monday
We are
we
a couple
did
idiots,
what's called
so.
a PST, which is a physical fitness test. And what that consists of is a 3-mile run. A perfect score is 18 minutes. The worst score you can possibly get is 28, and you fail. Pull-up, which is a max set 20. Minimal set 3. If you do 3, you're a B word.
You can
And
say
then
bitch
100 crunches in 2 minutes. That was every Monday.
100 crunches in
And
2
people are
minutes?
like, oh, well, yeah, 100 crunches in 2 minutes. I can't even count to 100 in 2 minutes, let alone do 100 crunches in 2 minutes. It's crazy talk. And so we would do this 3-mile run, and it was the same run every single Monday, but it was terrible. It was on concrete. You ran past these dumb, just the same little, what are these daggone things, warehouses, the same ones over and over again. It was just repetitive. And then Wednesdays and Fridays were hill runs. And Nick, you've been to Camp Pendleton before,
Yeah.
and you remember how big some of those hills can get out there. And they're not mountains, they're not too crazy and whatnot. But running them hills ain't no daggone joke.
No,
And there was one hill I'll never forget. He used to say, "Hey, we're gonna go see Jesus today." And I said, "What? We're gonna do what?" Well, there was a cross out in the middle of this field, probably about 5 to 6 miles away from where our barracks were.
I hope we get some Camp
And we
Pendleton
would
listeners.
run
That'd be
these
great.
hills and go all the way out to this cross, run all the way around the damn golf course. Come on, I mean, it was just terrible. But when people say runner's high, that high to me was when your whole entire body goes numb and you can't feel anything anymore. That's not high to me. That's
Yes.
misery.
So it's more like a hide, like hiding the pain.
Yeah. Daggone high.
Yeah, okay. I actually will agree with this though. See, I'm like a guy that likes to, like I said, I like to burn it as hard as I humanly can for as long as I can, then stop. I don't want to do like 2 hours of lifting. I don't have the attention span for it. So for me, I noticed, as far as going back to things that worked, I noticed when I cut weight, like I said, I was at 232. I weigh about 193 now. Running up steps, I have these outside of my house here. There's steps. There's probably, I don't know how that would. I maybe 2 or 3 stories of steps right outside my house, and it leads up to the next row of houses here in Los Angeles. I would run those steps, and I would run to the top, and then I'd run back down, and then I'd do a bunch of push-ups, and I'd take a break. And I know that sounds like not a lot, but I'm saying running steps, like sprinting them, is some of the hardest work that I've ever done in my life. And I noticed incredible results with it. Yeah. So it's miserable, and it's awful, and your actual chest feels like it's going to explode.
Have you ever heard that there's a race up the stairs at the Empire State Building for time?
That sounds awful. Like, actually awful to me.
Like 103 floors or something like that. And I
think you have to be at a different level of fitness. I really do. I think in order for your body to produce the amount of oxygen it needs for you to continue on, I think it has to be used to that actual brutal nature.
How many stories do you think you get before you have to physically stop? Like
2.
You're trying to go. All right, Kurt's at 2.
I mean, I don't know. Like, am I allowed to take breaks? Or
No. I'm saying sprint from the bottom.
Okay. Until I couldn't
go anymore.
Man, I would say
2 or 3.
I would
That's me.
I would say maybe 8 to 10.
Yeah, I was thinking 12.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah, I would say 8 to 10. I would say at that point, I would say
like I don't even honestly have a frame of reference.
In college, I lived on the 11th floor in college in my building, and every now and again, the elevators, we had 4 elevators, they'd be packed because something had happened, and there was like a line. I was like, screw it, I'm going to do it. And I always regretted it about 6 or 7 floors up. So I think I could get to that 8 or 9 or 10, but then I would really probably fall apart.
Yeah.
So that's why, like I said, that's where I feel like cardio can be really, really awful. But I also think that I would rather do it that way than take like a soft ass jog for 30 minutes and then not, But
You know about this ultra marathons, right?
I don't want to see that's you're a sicko. That's actually people that really are getting high off that.
That's got to be some sort. There has to be some people that are really like getting off on this thing because like a 100-mile race.
I watched that documentary the other day you told me about where the guy was climbing the wall.
Free Solo?
Free Solo. I'm saying that guy was not happy until he had to one-up himself all the time. There are personalities out there like that where they have to one-up themselves. They have to do better and better. Then they end up in all that crazy shit. They end up in 5-day-long races where they're
like I was listening to a guy who's
feet.
into these like ultra marathons. I think he holds the world record for all right, so I'm going to
The Appalachian Run?
no, that one I saw, that was a good one too. But so Curt, I'm going to ask you 100 miles, what do you think the record is for how fast you can get 100 miles done?
Running?
What do you think the record is?
I think the record marathon is like 3 or 4 hours. So
100 miles.
Of running. I'm going to tell you it's wildly faster than I thought it was.
I would say I would be impressed.
16 hours.
I was gonna say I'd be wildly impressed if it's under 25 hours.
It under 12 hours. It was 11 hours and
Jesus.
change.
What?
And then he kept running so he could break the 12-hour distance record, and he ended up going like 104 miles in 12 hours.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Your body is actually conditioned for something different at that point. I have to believe that your body's actually using less energy somehow. Like, I don't understand that to me.
You somehow have a different
maybe I'm
body
just
than the rest of
stupid,
us.
though.
I don't even like driving 100.
I was thinking
miles.
100 miles and driving in LA could take you more than 12 hours.
Absolutely a fact. Absolutely a fact.
Like
Get on that 91.
trying to drive to like San Diego in the wrong time of day.
The 101 or the 110. Oh my goodness.
You could easily, 6-7 hours. So this guy is getting there like 6 hours behind you, and he started jogging when you got in your car.
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming home from the beach and it's taking like an hour and 40, and that's like maybe a 12-mile drive, So
this guy is outrunning traffic at this point.
For sure. All right, so let's some organization is always good. We're terrible at organization, but let's go on to a category that I think is actually kind of interesting right now. Is maybe supplements or anything that increases, like I said, steroids, protein powders, creatine. For me personally, like I said, I'm a huge believer in protein powder. For me, everything I've ever read says if you can get protein in your body within 30 minutes of working out, that your body can absorb a little extra. I've always read that. I have tons of friends that believe no such thing, that believe protein does absolutely nothing. But what do you guys say? I mean, for me, I've done creatine a little bit before. I go back and forth on whether it's good for you. Basically, what it does is it puts water in your muscles. That's my basic understanding. It makes you bigger, makes you stronger, but it in no way makes you actually bigger or stronger. You are basically almost like somebody put an air into your muscle and just slightly inflated it. That's basically my understanding.
I don't know. I fully believe that protein after workouts great. Supplements can be great. I don't, only because I'm not good at remembering to do it.
So you're not an anti guy.
I'm not anti. I'm just lazy and dumb and forget to drink protein all the time.
Yeah, pretty
much.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it would benefit me greatly, but I don't know. Like my fitness goals don't require me to like bulk and get big and like really like I'm just kind of trying not to be embarrassed to take my shirt off.
Kurt, where you at on all this jib jab, mumbo jumbo?
So protein is 100% the best thing to intake within that 30-minute to an hour mark of your workout.
Okay, good.
Period. I don't care what anybody tells you. If anybody tells you wrong, they're dead wrong. Yeah. Creatine. So I'm extremely against it, and here's why. Creatine is a filler. If you could imagine your muscle fibers as a ladder, just pretend, like I said, pretend muscle fibers are a ladder. When you work out whatnot and you get that good pump on and whatnot, your muscle fibers, pretend those gaps in the ladder are getting bigger. All that creatine does is it essentially fills in those gaps. So those where you put your legs and where you put your footrest in that ladder and whatnot, it fills in those voids with creatine with water. And so now all you're doing is you're bloating your muscles with water, and it makes you appear to be fuller.
Correct. That's my
Does it
understanding
add to your
too.
strength? Yeah. Yeah. Does it add to your strength? That's a myth.
I've heard a little, but
and-
I would say this, Curt. I'm not going to ever say that creatine I took to be stronger. I went on, and I know you're supposed to cycle it, right? So you're careful with it. The only time I've ever taken creatine is if it's like, hey, it's summertime. In a few weeks, I'm going on a cruise or a beach trip. Then I will cycle it for 2 or 3 weeks, because I did all this working out. I might as well push it to peak performance for a couple weeks, and then I will usually uncycle it and I'll take it away. That's just me personally, but I do understand the notion that if you're genuinely working out to get bigger, if you genuinely want to be Arnold or you want to be in a competition, I don't think creatine has any place. That's my personal, unless, like I said, Curt, right before competition, maybe you cycle it just to make that look a little bit bigger. But that's my only. I don't think it's a permanent staple in your workout ever. Permanent. I think I agree with you on that. But like I said, if you just want a little bit of looks, hey,
Yep.
All right. What about
And
steroids?
then-
Steroids place does it have a place in working out anywhere or no place or very specific?
Any person in the gym that looks bigger than normal, like bigger than if he looks bigger than the naked eye that would you think is normally big, he's probably on juice of some sort.
Okay.
I don't give a damn what anybody says.
How accessible is the juice?
Very, very. You can get that from. So I can walk in my gym right now and probably get it from 20 people at a place tomorrow if I wanted to.
So it's not accessible in the sense that I could go to a store, but it's accessible in the fact that if you're in the right circles, somebody's got to be using it.
Correct. Absolutely.
Interesting. See, I've never done it. I don't know anybody that's buying it or using it. I know that you were talking to me at some point about if you were to ever take really big competitions seriously, that some of these competitions, the only way you can even compete in them is if you're in them. Is that right?
Absolutely. There's no natural bodybuilders, and the guys who are natural nowadays, there are competitions set aside for those people. Because every single competition known in the U.S. of A. knows that these guys are juicing in some way, shape, or form. But there are natural competitions nowadays to where
that's cool. Actually,
you will go in, get blood work done. You will also get a polygraph done to ensure that you haven't been on a cycle of some sort within the past 4 years.
That right there.
That is very true.
Yeah, I didn't know about that polygraph thing because I was curious with the natural thing because I was like, oh, you can cycle on, cycle off, your blood will be clean, that'll be fine. But yeah, that polygraph thing adds a whole nother wrinkle. I like that.
I like that too, and I also like
4 years in polygraph.
I like the idea that, like I said, in some points, some sports, I just want to see what the body is capable. I don't give a damn what you put in your skin or your body. If you want to fudge up your rest of your life, but you want to be like the size of, like a refrigerator, I'm like, look, man, it's a sport. I don't know if they want to do it. I want to see what the capabilities can get to.
If it doesn't affect another person, like
as long as it's like a level playing field, if everybody's doing it, right?
Not even that. Like, as long as you're not actively affecting another person, like in like a fighting sport.
Yeah.
Like if one guy's on steroids and another guy's not, and that guy caves in another dude's face, like
it's Lance Armstrong too. It's
Bikes,
like, okay.
Go for it.
But like Lance Armstrong they were doping and they were really doing they were just cycling oxygen through blood essentially. And that's a very awful version of what they're doing, but that's essentially they were just adding more oxygen to their blood, right? But people that were not doing it, that were not cheating that way, were saying that it is physically impossible to keep up with them. So it's not like a question of, oh, I'm not good enough, I just can't. Like, literally, the body can't produce that result unless they're doping. So they said it was
they're literally superhuman.
Right. It was very obvious who was doing it and who was not. So it was a problem in that sport. And like I said, But
is it a problem? What do I care? I just want to see the guys ride bikes faster.
I know, but I think that's almost, like I said, I don't know. That's not like to me, I don't know. It's weird for me because I also feel like steroids, I don't know. Like you make your muscles bigger, but you still have to do it. This is like, I've taken like almost like a pill that, I don't know. To me, I feel like
But it's not like I could take that and be like
it's a
a
cardio
guy.
exercise. I don't want to have you. I don't want you pumping in some fake blood, and now it's not cardio anymore. You know, I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, you still got to put in that work. Like, I can't take this pill or
And
this
then- yeah,
blood
right,
or whatever, and then hop on a bike and magically be better than like an elite guy who doesn't take
I
this
can't
pill.
take HGH and go out and do my push-ups and look, Macho Man Randy Savage either. So I agree. I'm just saying I think it's an unfair advantage, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do like is that like with steroids, you got to put in the work.
For sure. You
can't just like take steroids, eat McDonald's, and sit on your couch and be like a ripped dude.
I'm yoked.
Like it's not like helping you out.
That does not work that way. So HGH, like I said, in its time and place, certain places, I think it is appropriate. But you gotta be, like I said, everybody gotta be really careful. I mean, if you're gonna risk it for it, you gotta understand that you are risking a little bit for it. I think you have to take that in consideration.
Yeah, I think it's like anything else. Like if you're smart about it, the risks are probably
pretty
minimal. I think the bigger issues you see are these guys that go a little wild with it.
Over.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. Like literally everything is okay in moderation, and a bigger problem if you go wild with it.
Agreed. So with that being said, let's take that right into the next topic, which we thought would come up naturally, but it has not actually, is gym pet peeves. So you're saying HGH, like I said, I only have the issue with pet peeves with HGH when it's taken wrongly in the sense of like, you mess up, like you said, you mess up a sport with it, your UFC doing it, your, certain places, even NFL, I don't think it's appropriate. Yeah. I used to think it would be cool if NFL players did it, but now, I mean, they're already big and strong enough as is, and they're already borderline killing each other. I think if HGH was involved, I think people actually would be dying on the field, but maybe that's just my opinion. Other pet peeves, though.
HGH could be stronger. Steroids would make them out of control.
There you go. See, I'm an idiot already, so I don't know. I mean, literally. Yeah. Are they laughing at me, too? Oh, no, I wasn't laughing at you. No, they're laughing at me. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Just press all the buttons.
Yeah, Nick, you're not good at buttons.
That's all right. All right, so, Curt, I have worked out in some grimy-ass gyms. Give me and you and I are going to be different on this. Give me a pet peeve of yours in the gym.
Dropping the weight.
Hey, it's on the board. So yeah, I have an issue with dropping the weights too. I feel like it's a show off attempt to look at me. Look,
if you can't pick it up and put it down politely, then leave it on the damn ground. That's my opinion.
I kind of agree. I honestly feel like most of the time, I think there is a very small window for dropping weights. I actually feel that way. I feel as if you've picked up something and you're worried you're going to hurt yourself in the motion downward, then I think dropping is appropriate. But with that same thought in mind, what you're saying, Curt, is next set, don't go ahead and pick it up again. You should drop weight to be a man and admit that you need to drop the weight.
Yeah, you get like one drop, maybe a session.
Yes. Right, agreed. One drop, maybe a session.
But if I see you dropping multiple times, now you're just being a dick.
And maybe not, like I said, I think you need to get better at picking the weights that fit you also.
Yeah.
Because I think that's honestly one of my biggest pet peeves is working out with people, and I go to rack up their bench, and I'm like, what do you bench? They're like, you put on 225, and I'm like, as your warm-up set? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And I put it on, and they do 4. And I'm like, well, where are we going to go from here, dude? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why you're trying to impress me. Like, you're not going to get anything out of this workout now, That's a huge pet peeve of mine. Everybody's got to be macho. Just put on the weight that you do. I don't give a damn. That's one of my biggest. But, yeah, Curt, we're on the dropping weights thing for sure. But mine?
Yeah.
One of my biggest, so I was telling Lamb this, it's just the inconsiderate nature of certain people with either powder or hogging all the weights. For me, it's like if your workout stuff affects my workout stuff, then it's a pet peeve of mine. If you're hogging 9 sets of dumbbells and I actually can't work out, now you piss me off. And I will go up and say, like, yo, man, can I have one of these, bro? And I'll do it with an attitude because I think it's at this point disrespectful that you have 4 sets of dumbbells. You have 8 dumbbells in front of you now. I mean,
yeah, you have 2 hands.
Yeah, you just rack them, use it, and then rack them again. If everybody was just doing it that way, there probably wouldn't be a lot of weights out being used.
It's really disrespectful. Like usually, you're all paying the same amount of money to go to this gym.
Yes.
So I have every right to the weight you're using.
Yeah.
And you have every right to that weight.
Yes.
But you don't have every right to every weight.
Right. It's the same token with if you're on a machine too long. I get really pissed off if you're on like a machine and I look over and I'm like, oh, I'll just wait till this guy's done with whatever machine. And then I'm looking over, I'm like, this guy's taking like 4 minutes in between sets. It's like, dude, either work out the machine or get off it, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes
like,
you got to rotate
we can share the machine.
Yeah.
You don't need to rest sitting on the machine.
I'm pretty brazen. I will always ask if I can work in a set. Hey, you mind if I rotate, bro? Because I'm not going to wait for you to dick around in this thing for 2 hours.
As long as they're quick change weights,
Yeah.
I don't care about sharing.
What about you? What about you, Curt? You mind sharing your machine with somebody?
Yeah, I do mine.
Why?
Like a mother. You better get the hell out of my face.
What if you're taking
What you
3
want?
minutes in between sets? You don't care if he's gonna get a quick fly in or something?
Well, you better leave that weight on the bar.
No, we're not talking
be
bars.
lifting heavy.
I'm talking machines.
Yeah, machines.
Like pins.
Like
Moving
pins.
pins.
Like cables.
Yeah.
The cable, yeah, you're moving pins in any version of that where you're just like, oh, I'm gonna rack it down to 145 and you just put the pin at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
Selfish son of a bitch. No, just kidding. All right, what Lamb, what do you got? What's one that really irks your nerve?
This is gonna sound bad, but Monday chest day
Really?
infuriates me.
That is
I don't know when this happened,
That is an odd one.
but everybody in the world of gyms
Oh.
works out chest on Monday,
Okay, now I do understand the
and
issue.
it's
Not this guy.
infuriating.
Hell no.
Yeah, I do
For
understand
that reason.
I know. I stopped doing it, but it's just like
I think
if
it's
I go
every-
in on a Monday, I cannot use a bench. Even if I'm going to try and do something else on a bench, like I just need to do some maybe some tricep extensions, some kickbacks or something. I can't find a bench to be had
Yes.
in this place on a Monday.
I've run into that a lot, and I will agree with
And
that.
it's just,
kind of
I don't know
insanity.
why that's
think
the case.
guys-
No other day is like a guaranteed day. It's not like Friday's buys and tries for everybody worldwide.
No,
it's
no.
just Monday's chest day.
People I was gonna say, I think dudes just like doing chest. I really think that's the only.
And I think
that's it.
everybody likes to go to the gym on Monday. It's like, I'm gonna kill this week, and then they get there, they want to do what their favorite thing is,
chest.
and everybody's doing it, and it's just infuriating
Yeah,
because there's just nothing but like 40 dudes standing around 3 benches,
Waiting to just rotate
just
it.
like feels like some weird
Chacho.
I was just gonna say something highly
Sausage
inappropriate.
party.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. Yeah,
involves in a cookie on a table or
Yeah,
whatever,
okay.
but
Okay.
that kind of situation.
Yeah. So Curt, any other pet peeves you got? Because I got one that I think you do.
Oh, yeah.
Hit me.
Half rep tank.
What is
Half
it?
rep Hank.
Half rep. Oh
Half
man, I
rep
didn't even
tank.
think of that as a pet peeve. Damn it, that just pissed me off even hearing it. It's the same token as somebody not putting on the right weight. That shit pissed me off
Yeah.
anyway.
If you can't do it, don't fucking do it.
Yeah, it actually perturbs me too, Curt. I'm with you on that one, brother. Whoo! If you're over there doing,
I mean,
you ever
I don't
see
know. I don't know if bench is worse or squat is worse when people only do half reps.
I think bench is worse.
I think bench is
up
worse.
inside.
I think bench is almost meaningless if you're not. I think at least squat, you're maybe at least working your leg in some form, but you're not doing it correctly. You're not going to work the whole muscle. Chest, I see people.
Man.
I literally see people do like 3-inch reps on chest, and I'm like, what are you doing over there? Get a weight that fits you, bro. That is annoying.
They're doing like shoulder
And it-
shrugs on a bench. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. It's so bizarre. Yes, it is. It's the same range of motion. Now, I'll defend myself on this. I got long-ass gangly arms, and I fucked up my rotator cuff a couple times. So I do not touch the chest with my bar. I usually leave it about 2 inches before the chest, and then I go back up. I don't have any problem with that, and nobody on this planet is going to tell me that I'm doing it wrong because I actually feel pain when it goes below that point. But if it's 8-10 inches below above the chest, I feel like you have significantly not done the exercise.
If you have not moved the bar more, than the actual thing you're
Distance
doing,
between-
if there's more distance left
Yeah.
than what you moved,
You didn't
do it
anything.
right.
Yeah. I agree. I didn't know that was a thing, Curt. I feel like a jackass. That's
I
a
don't-
half rep Hank, huh?
Yeah. Like pull-ups really get
I
me.
got another one.
Hit me.
Loud grunting.
Oh man, we had that on there too.
That's
Actually,
on the list.
We had loud grunting on there too because
Uh,
I used to work out at
not
this.
with it.
I used to work out at this gym with my boss, and there was a guy in there that multiple times had to be told to keep it down because he would. That's what he would do. He'd be over there and he'd just be oh my god! Now that I'm remembering this whole story, he used to yell at himself. So if he would do he'd be like, I want 8 reps, John, and you'd be like talking to himself, and then he'd get like 5, and he'd try to get to 6, and he couldn't do it. I swear on my life, I heard this dude multiple times say, "If you're not gonna do it, just take your ass home." And I was like, "Who's he yelling at?" He's just yelling at himself.
Is he
like,
talking in third person?
I swear to God, he used to do it all the time. And they used to come in and say, like, "Hey, man, you got to keep it down." And he'd always threaten himself. He was going to take himself home. I mean, it was actually insanity. And look, man, I get it. You want to work yourself out. You want to get fired up. But don't piss everybody else off in there, bro.
I feel like you get the grunt like you get the weight drop. You get one.
Yeah.
I get it. You might need one.
I
You're
agree.
maxing out. Maybe you're
100%.
digging deep for a last rep. You might need a little something. But if it's every rep, if your first rep requires a grunt, you should not be doing what you're doing.
You should be breathing normally. And I don't even have a problem doing a little bit of noise. Ooh, that's fine. If you are genuinely making a ton of noise, I have a massive issue. This is, again...
It's a public space.
Right.
I will rip apart before I grunt loud. I ain't kidding.
So, have you... I mean, I have actually...
You ever sharded? Mid-rep?
Well, I ain't started at the gym, but I've ripped a couple of them in there, and I'll look around real quick. Backblast area secure. I'm good.
Yeah, I look around, make sure everybody's got their headphones in.
I've never told anybody to be quiet, but I've definitely told people that I've annoyed with the amount of weights they've used. So I've never vocalized the grunting issue, but I've definitely vocalized.
You know what I do? You know what I do when I hear somebody grunting? Say, hey, man, are you okay? Everything all right over here?
Yeah, just offer a spot.
Yeah, that's
even if they're on the hamstring raise machine.
Yes.
Just offer them a spot.
Yep, that's true. So the other thing I wrote down, this is for me. I'm not even a germaphobe. So let me preface by saying that. I think I've already said that before on here, but I don't actually give a damn about germs at all. I can't stand when somebody leaves a bar covered in chalk because half the time it's covered in chalk, it's also covered in like blood or something. Because like their hands are being ripped apart. That shit pisses me off. I'm like, look, man, if you want to bring powder into a gym, I honestly, I think you got to carry around a spray or something. Like, I literally don't think it's appropriate to nasty up your hands with some blood and sweat and then leave it that way. I actually find it rude, but I know that big lifters want to use powder.
Yeah, once again, the CrossFit. We use a fair amount of chalk at CrossFit.
Yeah.
But we have literally sanitary wipes, and it is your responsibility at the end of the workout when you rack your bar to wipe it down.
Yes. So
everyone, you use as much chalk on your bar as you want, but it's getting cleaned when you're done.
Yes, correct. Curt, and now you use powder, am I right?
No, I don't use any of that.
Oh, I thought this was going to be
raw dogging it out there.
Yeah. I thought this was going to be just.
So, yeah.
You a glove
I'm
guy?
about as dry as humanly possible. I don't use gloves. I don't use wraps. I don't use straps. I try not to use anything. And so I realized I've actually become stronger by not using other tools or other means to, grab on the bar. Now, don't get me wrong.
No, I agree with him on the no wraps, all that stuff. My hands just sweat a disproportionately large amount. Like where I've gone to lift a bar and it has slipped from my hands.
Yeah, multiple times. I've legitimately had
like
the same
unsafely,
issue.
where I'm worried I'm going to injure myself.
I have to wear gloves. So my hands just sweat too much. It's just too much for me personally.
Like if they could do an operation and just like turn the sweat glands off in my hands forever, I'd be in.
But I just wear my gloves. That's what I said. I wear gloves and my fingers come through them. They're not like big clunky. They're not like mittens you would wear in the cold. They're gloves.
You buy them in the ladies section, but
Yeah, but that's because I like the color pink, and that has nothing to do with the gloves. Bing. All right. Any other? Yeah. Go ahead, hit me.
I got one more.
Hit me.
All right.
When somebody comes to offer assistance or knowledge when you didn't ask for it.
Oh my God, you are killing it, bro. Oh my God, that is so true. I bet women have this issue way more than guys do.
Oh, I can't imagine being a girl at the gym.
I can't fathom being a girl at the gym, how annoying it must be.
I understand women-only gyms. Like, I get it.
Yeah, guys are freaking annoying, dude.
They annoy me, and they're not even interested in me.
I don't mind if somebody says, like, I really struggle, and somebody says, hey, you want a spot for that?
Oh, yeah,
I think that's dope. I like when
that's
people,
different.
I think I like that when people offer me a spot. I not like it, but I think it's okay. Curt, God, I couldn't agree with you more. Somebody comes up and you start jib-jabbing about what you got to be doing in your workout.
Yeah,
hey, you should try this. My motherfucker, I got like 40 pounds on you.
Oh, yeah, it's
I
never
will
the guy you
flip
want
you
giving
in
you
my
advice.
sleep. Yeah. Like, get the hell out of my face, man.
Tell me it always fits into the late 40s, used to work out category. I feel like that's where I get most of the advice from.
Man, you better go sit your punk ass down.
That is so true, man. It's almost a different subject to talk about how guys do that to women because it's such a rampant issue that every guy's like, yo, if you want, I can be your trainer. It's like, dude, you are so transparent, dude. Take your ass.
They
and
always
keep it
have
walking.
the same stance too. They're always leaning against something somehow.
Always leaning against
like
how
a
many,
rack of weights. They're
how
always
many,
like.
how many times have you seen a guy walk up to hit on a girl while she's like actually on the treadmill, on the Stairmaster, and you were like, are you actually serious? You think
The
that's
worst
appropriate?
I feel like is when they have weights and the girl has weights in her hands, like she's doing things and they're trying to talk to her.
Yeah, it's like, look,
The
man.
treadmill, at least that's pretty monotonous.
Yeah.
Like I could talk and go on a treadmill pretty well.
I would be
and
really annoyed.
I'd be annoyed.
Yeah.
But it's not like disrupting my jog.
Yeah, correct. But I it's like as a woman, and you put them in the position where they have to actually be rude in order for you to stop doing something that they shouldn't have had to ask you to stop doing in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then they come off as like they're the one
Yeah.
who's like got a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel so bad.
This girl was rude.
Oh, man, girl.
Yeah, dude, well, stop bothering her when she's working out. Curt, now, have you have a specific story, Curt, that you can think of where somebody did it to you that really bothered you, or it is like an actual nonstop issue for you?
It's a nonstop issue for me. I don't know what it is, and man, I had one guy come up to me. This was on Tuesday. So I do chest days on Tuesdays,
Smart man.
and an older gentleman came up to me and he was like, "Hey man, he's like, you're pretty strong." I said, "Yeah, okay." I was like, "Thanks, sir. You know, I appreciate it, whatever." And he's just trying to start small talk, which is cool and all. Then he goes, "Hey, have you ever thought about like switching up your grip?" Man, if you don't you gotta get the hell out of my face, man. Our conversation is done. And here's another one of my pet peeves. Why is it that I feel like 90% of the trainers out there have no business being trainers just by the way they look?
I couldn't agree with that more. It's like almost a fad more than it is anything to be a trainer. And I almost, like I said, it's almost transparent to me. It feels like I just want to be a trainer because it's in with women. But I agree, Curt. Half the time you see a trainer, I'm not. I don't. You normally fit this bill, but half the time I see a trainer, everybody surrounding him is in better shape than he is. So it's always is kind of strange.
Yeah, it is.
You're just like the cool guy who got out of high school, didn't know what he wanted to do, and has essentially just goes to the gym every day, drinks the goddamn caramel frappuccino, and sits on his hands and tries to hit on women all day, but then never really grew up, and now he's 45 and has nothing to do with his life. I mean, what are you doing?
I agree with you, Curt. I think that people giving advice at the gym is annoying, and I think that it is genuinely a common issue, and I think that. What used to say?
I was going to say that brings up a nice little side tangent of something Curt brought up. Small talk at the gym.
Oh yeah.
Don't talk to me.
Don't talk to me, and don't talk to somebody else and then hog the machine because you two jackasses are talking at the machine for 10 minutes. Sharing,
like one guy's leaning, always has a towel.
Yeah, sharing
like bringing his own towel from home.
I-
Not even a gym towel.
I
He's got it over his
hate it.
shoulder, like he just came out of like the spin class, and he wants to talk to his friend that like has been like doing same chest machine for 2 hours.
Every gym, there's at least one, but maybe two guys. Back me up on this. That you see in there all the time, but you almost never see them do anything. They just loiter around and chit chat and ask everybody else how they're doing.
Always leaning at the smoothie bar.
Yeah, they're giving everybody advice. It looks like they're sweating, but they haven't. You've never actually seen. Curt, tell me I'm not. Tell me I'm lying.
Well, those are the guys who supposedly have slept with every woman in the gym too. Those are those guys.
Yeah, I went to the
Oh
party.
yeah, hey, you see Debbie over there? Yeah, man. We go way back. Shut the hell up. Go back to whatever you're
I was
doing.
at
Go
this
to the
party
time.
this weekend. I drank like a 30-pack. I smashed the hottest chick there, and then I smoked like a pound of weed, dude. You're like, cool story, dude. Nobody cares about a story. Where you
Yeah,
get
you're
all-
cool.
Yeah, you're cool, dude. Keep
Yeah.
moving, bro. Nobody cares.
You're like a $140, bro. Relax.
That's right. So that would be that's a good pet peeve. I don't think I have anything else on there. Lamb wrote down Smith machine, which makes me laugh. So I would love to know what his beef with the Smith machine is.
Well, first off,
I can't
I'm
wait
sure
to-
Kurt's
hate
gonna
you,
back me up.
already.
Yeah, I hate that it exists.
What?
First off, it's all it does is allow a single range of motion, which most of the time isn't beneficial to your body.
I agree with that.
So, and they're everywhere, and every freaking dude wants to pack this thing with weights and act like they're actually moving that amount of weight.
Okay, but
But it's not real.
I'll defend the Smith machine saying this, though, in my opinion. There's a lot of times where I want to do, like, incline bench, and with a bar, I don't have anybody there, and it's not like I'm trying to go super, super heavy, but I also don't want...
Sorry, bro. Don't bench in the Smith machine.
Why?
It's not for benching.
But I'm saying I love that, like...
Get dumbbells. You can drop dumbbells if you can't handle the weight.
I'm not saying I can't handle it. I'm just saying I want to
I
be
get
able
you, no spotter. I'm saying got dumbbells. I don't know. Again,
So I do use the Smith machine for one exercise.
Shrugs.
It's for absolutely not. Oh no. I use it for it's called a floor press, and so it's usually like my last workout for chest day, and I just lay on the ground. I get the Smith machine bar, up to like the second or third rung on there, and I go up with the Smith machine, and the moment my triceps make contact with the ground, it goes right back up. And I just do that over and over and over again until I literally can't feel my chest and my triceps anymore.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like I said, if I'm doing a workout where I feel like I'm going to get tired and I just want the range of motion without doing, poor form or some kind, then I can work it in at the end of a workout. But as like a main form of my bench, I would never do that. I do agree with that. Honestly, a main form of anything, I don't think I would ever do.
It has a place, but the problem is it's never used for that place,
and it is overused to death. Too.
And it just is just.
I agree with this though. Okay, if your pet peeve specifically is people that use the Smith machine and load up all the weights and then do it that way, I actually do agree with you because I don't like when I look over and you're doing flat bench and you're loading up all this weight. I never do Smith machine for max because it's not your max and it shouldn't count and don't even do it. You know what I mean? Just do the real thing. I totally agree with that. But sometimes my range of motion is poor, so I need it. I also look over there and I see, music peeves. Yeah, I don't know. I wrote down music peeves or you wrote it down, but I actually have been in multiple gyms where people think it's appropriate to play music through their phone or bring in some version of a speaker. I actually think that somebody there in the world thinks that's okay. Have anybody else?
I've not seen it, but if I did, I feel like I should have the right to throw your music and your speaker in the trash can.
Curt, have you ever seen it?
Absolutely. I will punt that damn thing. But no, I've never seen it.
I used to have two gyms where I've seen people do it, but
that's not cool.
I don't know. I think I'd at the very least just go up and turn the volume off or something.
All right, so we also wrote down gym fads. Is there any gym fad, Curt, that you have seen in the last 10 years that either did or did not work? Dead air.
To be honest, not really. Not really fads wise. I mean, besides the gear guys, and that's really about it.
What's the gear guys?
Oh, you talking about like lifting with gear on?
Oh man!
What about that mask that everybody was using?
It.
Yeah, like it's
that's a good one.
Yeah,
that mask that like you're supposed to like let less oxygen through your body.
Yeah, it's supposed to make you work harder or whatever.
Was everywhere for like a solid 6 months.
There was a genuine 6 months where you didn't know if everybody was there to rob the place or work out.
Yes, 1,000%, 1,000%. That was definitely.
I'm already a mile up in the air, so air is already thin as is.
Oh man, I feel like you put that mask on, just walking from the parking lot to the gym, you'd be
just pass it
done.
Pass out.
So this is kind of introductory to working out. Do we miss anything? Anything, Curt, that you wanted to jump in on here? Anything that we did not cover that you wanted to say something about? I mean, we're open.
We damn near covered everything.
I agree, man. We went through it. I thought we went through some. I think the only thing we didn't cover was some good workouts. Let's all go through and say one workout that maybe is not super common, but you find really, really works for you, or has really given you some good results.
Let's see here. For me, we're gonna go back to the CrossFit. I just love the high intensity stuff. I'm kind of similar with you, Nick, on the fact that I want to get in, get it done.
Yep.
And just mixing it up. I've learned some. I'm going to go with Olympic lifting. Okay. It's really kind of a newer thing in my workout routine that I'm really kind of
working on.
Working on technique and trying to actually lift some
for
real
me,
weights.
Something that just a small workout. I'm sure a lot of people do it. That I actually noticed really good results almost immediately from was just sitting on a bench incline style and doing curls with it. I know it's a really small, change to curls. But if I do stand-up curls, I think most people do stand-up curls, and it's hard not to cheat. I really do think it's hard not to get two in your forearms. I really think it's hard for most people to not use too much of their front shoulders. I think a lot of people do that. So if I sit on the bench,
Momentum.
momentum. So I sit on the bench, I recline it, I grab the weights in my hand, and I can only use my biceps to pull it up. So I like that. Curt, what do you got there?
I will say this: any person over the age of 25, something that's really helped me out, and I hate admitting this, is stretching. I mean, that
wow.
cannot
we
make
didn't even get on
the
to
day
that.
better.
Wow. I never even thought of that.
I have just started doing it like the past, I'd say about 2 months now.
Uh-huh.
And I've noticed a significant change in all of my lifts across the board with just, dedicate 5-10 minutes of stretching before you start working out.
I guarantee you're right, too. I guarantee you're right.
I know you're right. I'm an old man, and I know the difference between a day I warm up and I stretch, and a day I'm just like running late, get in the door, and go.
Yep. I 100% am sure you're right, and I know that good people that work out definitely stretch before it. So I know that you're right on something there. But it's really helped you.
There's a first for everything. Kurt's right on something.
Yeah, you're right on something. Curt, we really appreciate you jumping on with us. I think we're going to do another one maybe on just maybe video games and the impact it has on people right now, or where it's come and where it used to be. We might do some other ones. We're not really sure where we're going to go yet, but we covered some broad topics here, and I'd like to jump back into lifting at some point.
For sure.
Maybe have some people on that have either lost a bunch of weight or people that compete in different competitions. Kind of get some takes from different angles there. Curt, maybe we'll have you back on the same one because at this point maybe you'll be midway through your competition prep or something.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Always love having you, Curt.
It's in April. Oh yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, man, Curt McGirt. Give yourself a shout out, Curt McGirt. Well, thanks for having on the show. And say goodbye to everybody.
Gentlemen, it was a pleasure. I love you all very much.
Hey.
I hope you guys have a wonderful evening.
Hey, Curt McGirt, thanks for coming on the show. As always, I'm Nick.
I'm Kevin.
And we are Two Dumb Idiots. Thanks for listening in.